So now we are up to starting to get closer to programming, I guess I should say. All right. You can, when you're programming, you have two options. You can create waypoints on the fly and be like, okay, let me write my program. And then once you get to a point where you need a waypoint, you'd go create said waypoint. Or you can try to pre-plan things and create your waypoints ahead of time. All right. We're going to start with the ahead of time option. So go ahead, click on that start menu in that top left-hand corner. I'm going to keep calling it the start menu, guys, so deal with it. You can thank Windows for that. And then we're going to go to Program Data. Now here you can see these are all of the different data types that already have a variable named in them. All right, so it starts with clock, load data, number, tool data, and work object. The one we are actually looking for is called Robtarget, Robtarget. It's not on the list because there's no Robtarget saved. So on the bottom right-hand corner, there's a view button, and we're going to say all data type, not used. And that'll show you a list of every damn data type out there. There are a lot of them. So now you're going to scroll down. The single arrow will move you down one single rung at a time. The double arrow will move your entire screen. I like the double arrow better. So I'm going to click that once and twice. And then in there, you're looking for Robtarget. There's also Robjoint. We're looking for Robtarget. And then you're going to go ahead and hit Show Data. All right. All right, now here is the fun part about this. We now need to get our robot to our desired position. So now that we've got the programming window open, we now need to actually put the robot in the spot we want to save it as. And we want to save it, and we want to put it in the spot in the orientation that we want. All right, so we're going to have to go back to the jogging screen to do that. So hopefully you still have that little tab. On the very bottom, you'll see tabs, just like you do on Windows. So like what programs have been opened, so what things have been opened. So you should see a jogging window like I have right here. We got jogging and program data, because I've closed everything else. So they are there, just right there at the bottom, if you have them still. Anyway, so we're gonna go back to the jogging screen. Now, depending on how your robot is, all you may have to do is change your Z height, change your X and Y, and you're perfectly fine, which would be good to be done in the the linear motion mode. All right. However, if your robot is not in an acceptable position, you're probably gonna want to use Reorient. Now, you could use joint angles, and you could just manually change each joint, one at a time. But I like the Reorient mode. So let's all try that. So first, go ahead, get your robots away from anything. So you guys in the front, you're actually just fine. Guys in the back, just like gain some Z height. Just twist the knob and go up. There you go. All right, so we're going to go ahead into Reorient mode. So you can either change it with the motion mode setting and go to Reorient, or you can click the little gray button right by your joystick until you have the Reorient symbol in the bottom right-hand corner. And then, as you can, we're still there. So now go ahead and push your joysticks around and like just see what happens to your robot. Don't forget about your increment. Now, what you will notice if you're paying super duper close attention is you are reorienting around the very end of the actual robot, not your tool itself. We have not taught it anything about our tool. All right, so it's reorienting around the center of the robot. And what do I mean by that is if I come to this tab and I just hide this, I zoom in on my screen here, it's reorienting around that point right there on your robot. Where the red, green, and blue lines come together, that's what we're reorienting around. All right. So yes, everything kind of links back together at the end. We will teach the robot about tools in a little bit, not today, another week or two, but for right now, we're just going to teach it about. So. All right, so hopefully you guys now have got your suction cups out vertical. So now go ahead and place that suction cup on that training block. So actually move it down to that. Get my screen here so I can get mine down to the trading blocks. We all have different trading blocks, so that's kind of fun. Yes, you want to go out of reorient, you want to go into XYZ mode. There we go. And you guys will have a lot easier time doing this than I will. Oh. Back up a little bit.
So I go to 405, I say,
I would move it XYZ personally. No, the
there I have
motion mode is linear. That's what you want.
Linear.
All right, yep. So go ahead and just go find it. Make sure that suction cup has a little bit of gusto when it comes to pressing. All right. And then once you get there, we'll come right back. So now that you've got your robots in their proper positions, okay. There we go. You guys need to move yours back to the suction cup now, not the gripper, because we're working with the suction cup. But if you have your robot in the proper position, because you haven't kept moving forward and playing, you're going to go to program data now, and you're going to say new. No, bottom left-hand corner, remember? Down here. Yeah, just, yeah. If you can have, 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or 6 things open down here at the bottom. And if you want to get rid of one, just keep clicking the X button until, that thing disappears, and then you're fine. But anyway, go ahead and click new. And then you're going to go and click on name. Now, this is the sucky part to the Teach Pendant. You're going to click the 3 dots next to name, and you have an on-screen keyboard to type things out on a resistive touch screen. It stinks. But, go ahead and call this whatever you want. P10 would be just fine if that's what you want to call it. Your choice. I'm going to call it block 1 since mine is a block. Block 1, okay. All right, and then scope global is perfectly fine. Storage type constant is fine. I don't know. No, you can use this. Yep, you're right. No spaces. Has to be underscores. Your other option is if between words you could do a capital. So if I want to type out block 1, I could do like a shift 1. And that capital letter will help differentiate where the words are for you. Your brain will see that and it'll be like, oh, that's a new word type of thing, even without having spaces there. So, little cheater's way of getting around not being able to use spaces and not feeling like using underscores. Each their own. All right, I think everything else here is perfectly fine. All right, now we do have the initial value button down here in the bottom left-hand corner. And if you click on that, it's going to show you all of the values that our robot currently is in. So here is our XYZ that you're in. And then if you keep going down, you see that Q1 through Q4. And that is dealing with the rotation. If you remember, I told you, I think like squaring all of these numbers and adding them together, that's supposed to equal 1, if I remember correctly. All right, so I just did my numbers. And as you can see, it's 1.000001. That's how accurate this is. And I'm assuming this is rounding slightly, or maybe over here we're rounding slightly. I did type in the actual numbers. But anyway, this is why I don't like to manually change these. I am sure there's a calculation for them. I just don't know what it is. So I'm not going to attempt to even go there. So if I need to change this, I just use a reorient or move a joint or whatever, and then I go back and I do a new location. Or update a location. All right, that is my solution. So, all right, then you can go ahead and note OK, and OK again, and look, now we have a block 1. All right, so that's how you would create a new block, a new robot target if you were going to do it from scratch. All right, now let's go ahead and get into the world of programming here. Holy moly! All right, are we all ready for this? No. I am. Oh, yeah, that was in there. All right, so now we're going to go to Program Editor. All right, and that should take you to a screen like this. Now, if I actually scroll up on my screen and you scroll up on yours, you will see your robot target that we created. That was not there a minute ago. All right, so that is now where you can see, and if we click the over arrow, you can see here's your X, Y, and Z. There's your Q1 through 4, and then I don't remember what's after all this. But there's a whole bunch of extra stuff on there for other options of things.
Okay,
All right, so now we've got our program open. We shouldn't have anything but robot targets in there now, so if you did, we delete them all. Anyway, we're going to do add instruction now. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do a move J. So notice our options here. We've got a move J. J stands for joint. We don't have any joint location, so we're not going to use that one. We have move C. That's all right. We'll come back. We'll delete it. You have move C, which is move in a circular pattern, which is really kind of annoying. Move C, you like define location A, you define location B, and then you define a point that you want to go through to get there. So it goes whoop, and it creates a circle that way. I really don't like move Cs, but I'm sure they have their use. What we really want in this case is move L. All right, actually move J would be fine. No, we're going to move J. We do have move. We're going to move J. We'll keep you happy, Heidi. You didn't screw up. All right. So move J, I believe, if I remember correctly, is move in the least joint. Move to that location with the least joints possible. Where move L is that perfectly straight line from point A to point B. Move J will move, whatever the joints as little as possible to get from point A to point B. So whatever you're picking up may not stay level, because it may be like picking up and doing some other funny things. So now we can go click add instruction again, and that will hide that little menu that popped up. Now here we have move J, which is our command. Asterisk, that is our location. So if we actually click on the asterisk twice, we can now see that our data that we have for our robot targets, which we have block 1. And we're going to go ahead and hit OK. All right. And then we have V1000 Z50 tool 0. V1000 is your velocity. All right. How fast do you want the robot to go? Now, this is in auto mode. All right. I don't know how it's measured. All right. Yeah, we're going to bring this way down. We're going to go down to about a V100. That sounds like a good number to me. All right. Z50, you can just click at the top up here now in the block if you don't want to hit OK. Z50 is how close do you have to be to that point before we qualify being at that point. So you click on, like, if I want to change V100, I click on it once to select it, and I click on it again to go into the change option. So up here at the top, I then click to Z50. We're going to change that to Z15. That sounds good. And then we're going to leave it as tool 0. So we're going to say OK. All right. So if you were to move your robot to a new position, like say straight up, so let's go ahead and do that. Just hold the kill button on the back, the dead man switch, and move your robot straight up. I can't click there. Got to go straight up. Make sure you're in high-speed mode and you're actually in linear mode. All right, now that you've gotten your robot off of the block, we're going to go ahead and click on proc main. Yes, we can't do that. Click on move J. All right, so you should have the whole line selected. Hold the dead man switch, and then press the play button on your robot. Oh, and it says at least one task on mine is missing a pointer. Say, okay, so we have to tell it where we're starting. I thought clicking was doing that. It was not. This is what happens when you don't do this except for, half a semester a year. So you're going to say debug and then pp to main. That's what we're going to do. And then yes, I'm sure I want to go pp to main. And you will notice now there is a little arrow over here on the left-hand side. That is where the pp is, or the program pointer. All right. So that's saying, hey, this is the line of code I'm going to run when you hit play button. All right. So now if you go ahead and hit play, you should see your robot move down to that location. You gotta hold the dead man switch because we're in manual mode. That's fine. Either one will work. So, now your robot moved to that spot, which is great. But as you can tell, what do I always make you guys do before we go to a spot? We go above the spot, right? I like to make you go above because what I do. So anyway, we are going to add an offset into this. So we're going to click on block 1 again. Let me stop my robot. All right, so you're going to click on block 1. That should take you to where I am. Then instead of being under data, we're going to go to functions. And now we're going to set offs, O-F-S-S. All right, so that brings us here. We have EXP times 4. The first one, it's telling our data type. And notice right here it says our active type is robot target, our result is robot target. That's our goal. So we're going to select block 1. Now notice it says our active type is a number. All right, so that's what we want to put in there. We want to put a number in there. Now, how do we do this again? Oh, okay, so we're going to say all, and we're going to say only selected. And that will allow us to actually type a number. Now, if you had variables, you would just select the variable that you wanted, but if we want to type a number, so you're going to click on the number, or we're on X right now, and then you're going to say edit, and then you're going to say only selected, and then you're going to say 0, and then hit OK, because this is offsetting in the X axis. We don't want to change our X, all we want to change is our Z. Yep, so it should say block 1, 0, 0, we'll call it 50. I think 50 millimeters will do it. We'll find out. All right. Now, if this time, if you go to edit and you say all, you'll notice it gives you the whole option here. So you can actually do it all at once, which is not, I don't know. I like the individuals a little bit better, but you can do it this way if you want to do it that way. Oh, and this last one should say 50, not. Okay, okay. And then okay, okay, lots of okay pressing. All right. Now at this point, you'll notice that we now have it says move J offset block 1 0 0 50. All right, so that's good. So that's saying we're going to offset on the 0 in the X, 0 in the Y, 50 in the Z above block 1's location. All right. And if you notice, our little arrow here is now missing for where our program pointer is. We have to do debug program pointer to routine to main again. And say yes. And then if you were to run this, it should now move up 50 millimeters from where you are currently. So go ahead and give that a shot. All right, so the last thing that I want to quick talk about is the set and reset command. So if we go back to add instruction, you notice you have set and reset as options there. All right. I am selected on move J right now. When I hit set, it's going to say, what do I want to set? And I'm going to say vacuum, because that's what my output's called. You guys are going to use output 7 and 8. I don't know which one's your vacuum, but that's what you're going to use. And I'm going to say OK. And then it actually does pop up. You want to put this above or below the currently selected one? I'm going to say below. All right. So I've now turned my vacuum on. All right. Yeah, and I could turn it off. Now, one thing that I absolutely dislike about this is like wait times. There is an option to wait for the robot to get to its position or something first, which I always have a hard time with. It's in here. So we could do a wait until, and then it doesn't give me the option. So we're just going to throw a wait time in. And again, we're going to do a number, and we're just going to say like 1. Actually, I think this is in seconds, so like 0.5 we'll throw in there. I'm going to say below. So it's now move to it, wait half a second, and then turn the vacuum on. If you don't do that, turning the vacuum on is not a problem. If you turn it on a little early, not a big deal. You turn it off a little early, and your block's going to drop. So it's going to be going down 50 millimeters, and it's going to be like, oh, I can turn that off right now, even though you're not in the position, and it's just going to pop it off. So not a huge issue in our cases, but it's still a good thing to put that little wait time in there. So it doesn't have to be a very long wait. I mean, even probably 0.1 seconds would be enough for our purposes. But you got to make sure you throw a weight in there. So I think there's an option to add a like in position or something to this. I'm down here. A, B, C, D, F, G. Oh, I don't see in position as an option. So anyway, just put a wait time in and we'll call it good. So now you guys should know everything you need to program the little, 8-step process of moving a block from point A to point B.